Hey traders, this is Reed from Shift to Alpha. And if you're trading a funded account and you keep giving back the profits you already earned, this video is for you. And quick check, if you don't have a rules-based strategy with a statistical edge, if you're still guessing or gambling, stop here. Go build that first. This video is not for beginners. This is for the trader who can trade but cannot execute under pressure. The trader who experiences this paradox. You constantly earn profits in a calm, structured environment, but when you're live, when the pressure's on, you give back all the profits you made. If you have an edge, but you can't hold execution, your statistical edge is mathematically void. And let me be crystal clear. You cannot optimize a mindset for a strategy that does not exist. You need a proven edge first. That's non-negotiable. So stop guessing. If you don't have one yet, go find one right now. So if you're still with me, you have a strategy that works, but you have an execution issue. Let me paint you a moment that you already know too well. You start strong, you're patient, you're following your plan, then something happens in the market. You finish the week positive and start calculating your potential payouts from your accounts. You're thinking this could finally be a big payout week. Then one session later, you're staring at a trailing drawdown in disbelief. You observe yourself taking trades you would never trade on replay. And the advice from your trading mentors, they're always the same. You need more discipline. Here's the key concept that a lot of people won't tell you. The moment you calculate unearned capital, your brain shifts from execution optimization to outcome dependence. And here's why willpower fails. Your amygdala, your threat detection center in your brain, it fires in approximately 12 milliseconds. That's exponentially faster than your prefrontal cortex can process logical rule sets. Do you understand what that means? It means by the time your conscious brain knows what's happening, the hijack is already complete. Conscious willpower is biologically obsolete in that moment. So when everyone tells you, just be disciplined, follow your rules, stop being greedy, control your emotions, they're telling you to use the slowest part of your brain to outrun the fastest part. That's not a character flaw you're dealing with. It's a biological system override, and no amount of trying harder fixes biology. Here's exactly how it unfolds. 1. The trigger. You take a clean loss, or price runs aggressively without you. Your subconscious registers this as a threat. 2. The click. Your hand moves autonomously. You're back in the market. You're chasing trades. You're widening your stops without conscious authorization of it. And 3. This is the part that destroys your confidence. You know better. You watch yourself execute the sabotage in real time, completely unable to stop the behavior until it's over. This is what we call dissociative execution, when motor function temporarily decouples from logical intent. You're a passenger in your own body when you're trading. So you do what every serious trader does. You tighten your rules. You rewrite your checklist. You promise yourself, tomorrow I'm locked in. And then tomorrow comes, and the same thing happens in your trading. That's not a discipline problem. That's a system problem. You're stuck in a loop. The same pattern, the same failure, the same promise, repeating indefinitely. Relying on discipline forces your system into a speed race, and you can never win it. And writing your trading rules to be more strict does not prevent the physical hijack that subconsciously happens in your mind. Making promises to yourself relies entirely on logic, remaining intact under pressure. But you and I both know that when you're under pressure in the market, logic is never in charge. Here's what's actually happening neurologically. Your brain runs 3 different systems at different speeds. The first is going to be the survival side of the brain. This detects threat and reacts fast. It's the oldest part of your brain. Think of this as the side of your brain that kept cavemen safe back when they were being chased by animals. And then you have the second one, which is the habit system. This runs patterns automatically, efficiently, and unconsciously without you even realizing it. And then third, the thinking system. This makes plans, writes rules, and adheres to loss limits. It's logical, but it's very slow and energy intensive. So here's the hierarchy of these 3 systems. Under high stakes pressure, the survival and habit systems preemptively suppress the thinking system. They conserve energy for what they perceive as an immediate threat. Your logic doesn't lose the argument. It gets shut down before it can even speak. And this is crucial to understand. The brain doesn't only respond to physical danger, it responds to the meaning that you place on your trading. Your funded account carries meaning. Your potential payout carries meaning. That floating profit and loss that you see during trades, that carries meaning to you. And your identity as a trader carries meaning. When you watch unrealized profit and loss fluctuate, your brain signals that something critical is being taken away. Your body reacts as if physical survival is actively threatened. Here's the uncomfortable truth about that. The human brain cannot neurologically distinguish between a physical predator and a financial drawdown. This is why your internal dialogue shifts under pressure. When you're trading your strategy like you're supposed to, this is how your logic sounds. Follow the daily loss limit, wait for the setup, accept the variance of the edge. But when the survival system hijacks you, your mind produces thoughts that sound like logic but aren't. Threat response sounds like, take it now before it disappears. Get back in, you can't miss this trade. Make back that loss, you can't end in the red for today. Those aren't discipline failures, those are threat responses. And they feel urgent, they feel true in the moment. Now, here's what makes it worse. Willpower doesn't just fail, it actively builds a toxic loop. When you try to white knuckle through a session to tough it out, your body doesn't store the memory as I was disciplined. Your body stores that memory in your mind as that was highly stressful, but I survived. Your nervous system preemptively maps the act of trading to the experience of threat. So surviving through sheer willpower guarantees a faster, more aggressive hijack or self-sabotage in your next trading session. You're literally training your brain to fear trading even more. And then the cycle of shame hits. When you break your rules, despite promises, you take a direct hit to your identity. Internal dialogue shifts to, what's wrong with me? Why can't I follow my plan? Maybe I need to study the charts more. This shame adds severe baseline pressure to your next session. Elevated baseline pressure makes the survival system hypersensitive, guaranteeing faster failure. And here's the core truth. Shame is not a corrective mechanism. It is an accelerator for future self-sabotage. So say this with me. Biology responds to design, not demands. You cannot negotiate with a psychological threat response. You must engineer an environment where the response is rendered mathematically and physically harmless. So if discipline isn't the answer, what is? You need a psychologically defensible way to interrupt the pattern, not motivational quotes, not try harder, a defensible interrupt. Meaning, when the hijack hits, your system still holds strong. Because it doesn't depend on you being calm, confident, or rested. It's designed to function perfectly when you are entirely at your worst. A defensible interruption shifts the burden of execution from your fragile emotional state to a predetermined system. An effective interrupt has specific properties. Resilient. It holds structural integrity, specifically under acute psychological pressure. Automated. It requires zero willpower to initiate. The action is binary, externalized, and pre-decided. Customizable. It's mapped uniquely to your biological triggers, not a copy and paste template that some guru may send you. And it's based on pattern recognition. It isolates specific neurobiological triggers and severs the stimulus response pathways before execution occurs. Now, I'm going to give you one specific shift that for most funded traders I found removes emotional volatility almost immediately. Here it is. Most traders lose execution because they remain visually fused to the chart. Every micro fluctuation, every tick becomes interpreted as a direct message or a threat. Your nervous system is held in a state of perpetual hyperarousal. It never settles down. This environment guarantees the eventual exhaustion of your thinking system. Continuous visual tracking of live price action is a form of acute, sustained psychological microtrauma. So here's the shift. We call it cognitive decoupling. Chart fusion is reacting to random movement, a live emotional wrestling match. Exhausted executive function vulnerable to market hypnosis. Alert-driven execution is responding to pre-decided conditions, a cold professional process. Preserved cognitive capital protected from high-frequency noise. This one shift creates separation. And here's exactly how to do it. Phase 1, before the session, when you're calm and logical, set exact alerts for your real entry levels and profit targets. Phase 2, step away from the screens, physically move away, deliberately break the chart hypnosis traders fall into. In phase 3, execute only when the specific alert fires. The alert is the gatekeeper. This creates structural distance. It keeps your thinking brain in charge. Here's the core truth of this. The alert becomes your operational gatekeeper. It forces biological distance from market chaos. It removes the constant stimulation, keeping your nervous system in a state of fight or flight. You're not reacting to movement in the markets anymore. You're responding to a pre-decided condition, which is your strategy. And again, For most funded traders, this is the first time trading stops feeling like a live emotional wrestling match, and it starts feeling like a professional process again, where you can reliably and predictably draw funds or profits out of the market. Because remember, your brain isn't broken. It's just running old software in a new environment. The human operating system was optimized for physical predator evasion, not high-frequency, probabilistic financial speculation, which is day trading. You must design your system accordingly. Simple holds under pressure, complex breaks. So let me bring this home. If you keep giving back funded profits, hear this very clearly. It's not a discipline problem. It never was. Your brain is doing what it was designed to do: detect the threat, react fast, and protect you. That's not a flaw. That's your operating system. That's how your mind was created. The problem is the market punishes survival responses. It punishes the exact behaviors that feel like relief in the moment. So the answer isn't try harder. The answer is design an interrupt that your psychology can actually defend. So comment one word below: defensible. And if you're funded, comment your number one execution break, whether it's revenge trading, fear of missing out, or overtrading. In the coming videos, I'll break down the specific types of interrupts mapped out for every pattern, not copy and paste, but tailored to your specific failure points. And always remember, you're only one shift to alpha.